Good morning, world. This is Ivan Mayer here again. It is 6:40 here in Canada, whereas all you guys on the other side of the world, you guys are all awake. You're all awake, obviously, and all you guys in Los Angeles are sleeping still. All you guys who live on the east coast of the states, in the states, you guys are pretty much the same time as me right now in Canada, the eastern side of Canada. Whereas all you guys on the west coast, you guys are still sleeping, unless you're a nighter who stays up all night like me, obviously, right? So if you're like all the Hollywood celebrities, they live in Los Angeles. If you're struggling to sleep, I'm saying, because you're stressed out, you're a dirty slave. They don't hate me. I'm saying, all you celebrities who have a tough time sleeping, who don't sleep much because you're stressed out about your crazy schedules. I'm saying, you guys will enjoy my video in a couple hours from now, and I'm gonna watch this. I hope you guys enjoyed my last video. I just finished watching it, and afterwards I went on YouTube and I watched some trailers. I watched the Last of Us trailer, the remastered trailer, and I watched the God of War Ragnarok trailer. God of War Ragnarok looks pretty good. Rabbit will be covering that on his channel in a couple months from now. Comes out November this year. God of War, in my opinion, has potential to be Game of the Year in 2022. I think it will be Game of the Year, God of War. I think God of War will even be better than Elden Ring. Even though Elden Ring was an amazing game, the story it's not story driven. It's kind of like open world gameplay kind of thing. And that's what Elden Ring I didn't like. I'm probably not gonna like it as much as God of War. It's a good game, Elden Ring. I saw the whole thing on Rabbit's channel, but the only con about Elden Ring, it's not story driven. There's no story. There's no real. There's a story, but it's kind of like an open world gameplay Elden Ring. Whereas God of War Ragnarok, you have a story. So I'm saying that's why I believe God of War will take the crown for Game of the Year 2022. And The Last of Us Part 2 won Game of the Year in 2020 because the game was that good. It was a fucking masterpiece of a game. Ivan, what would you say is the Game of the Year for 2018? For 2018 on Robert's channel, the Game of the Year for that year would probably be Detroit Becoming Human. Either that or perhaps Spider-Man or Red Dead Redemption. Those would be the top. I don't know. I don't know what was Game of the Year in 2018. I think it was it Spider-Man 2018? God of War came out in 2018, but I enjoyed Spider-Man more than God of War on Rabbit's channel. Yeah, 2018, the Game of the Year would probably be either Detroit Becoming Human, Spider-Man, or Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption, was that 2019 or 2020? 2018. It was 2018, I believe, Rad played on the channel. Or was it 2019? For 2020, I'd say it's Spider-Man and Detroit Becoming Human. Those are like the Bad Rabbit's best two games. 2019, I think, was Red Dead. I don't remember, man. I have to go back and check. I don't remember. Hear the noise of eating food. I'm eating food, some here. And I get my check either today or tomorrow. That's why I'm excited. I get my check today or I get my check tomorrow. Hence why I can relate to the crewmen, Lord of the Rings crewmen, who don't have any money, obviously. Yeah, I know that feeling of not having any money. It's not fun, man. It's not fun. There's a reason why God gave me these keys because what? I knew how crazy. Yeah, the world's so crazy. They're willing to they're willing to not never let me see my wife for forever, unless I don't pay this. Unless they don't see me have sex. You guys are crazy psychopaths. When people make fun of me because of my mental illness, and your step family is willing to keep you poor for the rest of your life. I mean, yeah, man. My step family are so reprobate. They're willing to keep me poor for the rest of my life. I'm 30 years old and I'm collecting welfare checks. Yeah, man. My step parents are reprobate. They make their hundreds of billions every year, and they're willing to keep me poor for the rest of my life because they're reprobate people, man. Yeah, man. Hence why God gave me these annoying keys, obviously. Because I knew the world will do this to me. Yeah, if I don't come here with the keys, the world is gonna what? They're gonna keep me poor for the rest of my life. And never let me see me because they're crazy psychopaths. Yeah, man. While they get to make their $50,000 a year, get a good education and be with her, get their free husbands, wives, girlfriends, and boyfriends. And Ivan has to pay for that because you guys are fucking crazy people, man. You're not gonna mess with me. And then people make fun of me because of my mental illness. Oh, Ivan's crazy because of the way he thinks. What about you guys? You guys are 10 times more psychotic than you, more psychotic. You're fucking crazy people. You're crazy psychopaths, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you shut us up for good, we can't say shit. Yeah, you can't say shit. I shut you up for good, man. As I have not seen VJ's face in 30 years. I'm turning 31 next January. VJ's turning 30. I have not seen VJ's face in 30 years. And people make fun of me and say I'm the crazy one. Yeah, shut your forget. You guys were 10 times. Whenever people make fun of me and say, oh, Ivan's crazy because the way things, I just ignore them and I laugh it off. Man, you can. I shut you for good. You're 10 times more crazier than me and VJ, man. You separate me and VJ for 30 plus years. I haven't seen my wife's face in 30 years. Because you're crazy fucking people. Yeah, man. Yeah, hence why, guys, you better enjoy this series while you can. Because once I'm king, I'm piecing up my wife. You're not safe. You're left behind. Alright. Alright, you're not talking about your theory chain, guys. There's a high chance I won't even build it. I'm just being honest here. I don't need to build a theory chain. It's kind of a waste of money. Me and VJ don't need an extra $30 billion. We don't need that money. Okay. To be honest, I kind of prefer to see. I kind of prefer to see the movie in the comfort of my couch at home and my private IMAX theater with just my wife, instead of seeing it with a big crowd of people. Because you can have distractions when you win. Yes, seeing it at the theater is cooler, obviously, but I kind of prefer to just see it at home with my wife. Me and VJ are gonna get the theatrical experience at home. Same theatrical experience as the theaters, except it's a smaller room, obviously. Because I'm gonna put like $2 million into a private IMAX theater. You're still gonna get a good experience. And I'm gonna build a private IMAX theater room with lights, like the lights dim on a big screen. I'm gonna have a big like 200-inch screen, a nice IMAX projector, like same IMAX as the theaters. Yeah, I don't need to build a theater chain, Sincere. And the rest of the world can put money into if you hear the noise, I'm eating an apple. The rest of the world can put money into a theater system at home. Sincere. You say you're not going to build it? No, there's a high chance that I might perhaps build it. I'm going to have a talk with VJ, but something tells me VJ is not going to want to build it. Ivan, I don't want to build it. I don't want to do all this work. Yeah, I don't feel like doing all that work, man. But I can usually hire my development team to do all the work for me. But it's still, me and VJ still have to do a lot of work. We have to plan out the interior, exterior of our theater. We have to hire like 10, 50,000 employees, managers, CEOs. A lot of work. It's a lot of work, Sincere. It's an extra 40 billion that we don't need. Yeah, we don't need what? We don't need what? We don't need an extra $34 billion. Even George Lucas will tell me, Ivan, don't build it. It's a waste. It's kind of a waste of money. You don't need it. You're gonna make more than enough money off. Yeah, me and VJ are gonna make a good 69 to 80, 90, even $100 billion off my movie, my merch. Perhaps even more. Because I don't know how much people worldwide are gonna buy my movie, man. Like, you're probably looking at a good 1.5 billion people buying it. Perhaps even if 2 billion people buy it, me and VJ are going to make our 100 plus billion off the movie and the merch, obviously. But my guess is about 1.5 billion max around there. Because most people have families, so it cuts it down. So China has 1 billion people. Chances are maybe 350 million people in China will buy it. You know what I'm saying? A good maybe 350 million in Europe, 400 million in Europe, maybe a good like 12 million in Canada, and a good like 80, 90 million, I don't know, 70, 80 million in the States, because most people have families, obviously, and another maybe 30 million in Mexico. another maybe 40, 50 million in 60 million in South America. Yeah, about 1.5 billion people. Whereas the people in Africa and Middle East will not be able to see my movie, obviously, because I'm releasing it on Forkable on Amazon. I could give them I could give the world the online option, but if I do that, Amazon will be pissed off because they're not going to make as much money. If I do the online option, most people are going to purchase it online because they're going to want to see my movie right away. So I'm saying that's why I have to make a choice. Either I see it online. The good thing about online, I don't have to worry about distribution. I could do a thing where I release it online, and I sell the merch on Amazon. But I told you, I'm not a fan of online streaming for my movie, man. It's very unprofessional. I'd rather have it on 4K Blu-ray. You know what I'm saying? But, George, Ivan, watch release it online. You don't have to worry about the distribution hassle, Ivan. Somebody, no, guys, I want it on 4K. But yeah, people, Ivan, 4K Blu-ray is better, man. You're a good choice. 4K Blu-ray is better. You make more money. Yeah, I can price my movie for like $160 for 4K Blu-ray. Whereas online, I can only price each of my volumes for like $35. $40. The profit margins are not as high. You see what I'm saying? There's way more profit to be made in 4K Blu-ray than online. Online, I'm not going to charge $160 for online. No, for online, it's a worse experience. Hence, you charge like $30 for each volume. So it'll be $90 for the 3 volumes. Compare that to the $160 and more higher profit margin. Yeah, I'll make more. I'll make pretty much about the same amount of money, but the higher profit margins for 4K Blu-ray. That's why I'm sticking to 4K Blu-ray on Amazon. All you guys in Africa and the Middle East, I'm sorry. You guys will not be able to, you're going to be pissed off. And most people in Africa don't speak English anyways. Only 10% of people in Africa speak English. Africa has about 1 billion people living there too. Only a good maybe 150 million people in Africa speak English. You see what I'm saying? So it's pointless for me to what? Yeah, obviously. But who knows? I might perhaps build that theory chain. But high chance I won't, guys. I'm just going to sit the fork on Amazon. It's enough. I don't need to build this theory chain. It's me and we're going to make more enough money. We're going to make our good $70 to even $100 billion in royalties for the movies and the merch. We don't need, Vijay like Ivan, it's too much money. We don't need more money. Yeah. I'm greedy, obviously. I love the money. It's nice to have a lot of money, obviously, but I'm not going to, we don't need an extra 34 million. Vijay asking, Ivan, you're crazy. You're gonna make a nice extra 34 billion for yourself? I'd fucking build that theory chain. More money for me. I'm like, Peter, you're fucking greedy, man. Relax. I don't need any more money, you know what I'm saying? I don't need any more money, Peter. Relax. You know what I'm saying? However, you're not going to build a theory chain. Chances are I won't build it, guys. I'm being honest. I'm just going to release it on 4K Blu-ray. I don't feel like doing all that work. Whereas for Amazon, all I have to do is just call the CEOs. They come to my office, we sign the deal, and they'll take care of everything for us. All Sky Source has to do is just send them the footage of the film of the movie, and send them the files. Send them the picture files for the posters, for the 4K Blu-ray case covers, for the 4K Blu-ray case covers of each of the volumes, and the box set cover, and the printed pictures for the for the merch, and that's it. Everything's Slack, and Amazon will handle all the dirty work for us. George goes, yeah, Amazon will handle all the dirty work for you. They'll take care of all your shipping and receiving worldwide, all over Europe. They're in every country in Europe. They're in Canada. They're in what? They're in the States. They're in Mexico. They're in South America. They're in China. They're in Japan. They're in Korea. They're in New Zealand. They're in Australia. Amazon will handle. I believe they're in the Caribbean islands too. Yeah, they're gonna handle everything for you, Ivan. Yeah. And if Amazon is not in the Caribbean islands, the people in the Caribbean island can order it from Amazon. You can, if Amazon is not in your country, you can order from another site. You can still get your movie, but it'll cost you more money because you have the currency rates, obviously. Like if you live in Canada, you can still order on Amazon US if you want. If you live in United States, you can still order on Amazon Canada. You'll still get your product, but you're gonna have to pay those rates. Pay those rates, obviously. But Amazon, I believe, is in every country in Europe. They're in every single country in Europe. They may not be as big in some countries, obviously, but Amazon is in every single country in Europe, and they're in Canada, they're in the States, they're in Mexico, they're in they're in half the countries in South America. Yeah, they're worldwide. They're in China, they're in Japan, they're in Korea, they're in over 100 countries worldwide. Half the countries worldwide around there. Yeah. And they're in a few countries in Africa, and they're not in the Middle East, and they're not in Africa. They're in about like 4 or 5. They're in like 2, 3, 4 countries in Africa. They're in New Zealand and they're in Australia. You know what I'm saying? Hence, all the people, all the English speaking worldwide will be able to buy, and some of the foreign speaking people will be able to purchase my movies. You know what I'm saying? That's what George B. L. Ivan, just sign your contract with Amazon. They're gonna handle everything for you. Yeah, you don't have to worry about something crazy with your chain, Ivan. George, I'm gonna ask you, Ivan, answer this question. Do you really need to build this theater chain? Do you really need an extra 30, 40, 50 million dollars for yourself, Ivan? You don't need that money, Ivan. You're making more than enough off you're making more than enough on my 4K Blu-ray movie and merch. I don't need more money. See what I'm saying? I don't need any more money. Hence why, high chance, I'm just going to stick to direct-to-home video 4K Blu-ray on Amazon. Hence why I'm going to keep saying this, guys. I recommend you put money into a theater system. To all you middle-class people around there, I'm going to keep saying this. Stay in your fucking lane. I don't want, yes, I recommend you get a theater system, but I don't want you guys to drown yourself in debt and be stupid. And I want this one. You get like a $10,000 theater system. No. Stay in your lane. Be smart. If you make 50, 60, 40, 70K a year, get around that 15, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, $4,000 range theater system. Even 5,000 is pretty affordable, but anything over 5, you're pushing it, man. Don't be stupid and get like a 7, 8, 9, $10,000 theater system and you drown yourself in debt. No. Be smart. For a good $1,500, you can get a really good theater system with like a nice 4 speakers for yourself. It's good enough. You don't need to be crazy and I want this one. You get like a $10,000 one. We can't afford it, honey. I don't care. I want this one. We'll find a way to make payments. And you get a $10,000 theater system and you're fucking stressed out. And you have to pay off your fucking debt. Pay off your $10,000 credit, man. You're not me, VJ. You're not the Hollywood actors. You're not part of the upper class. If you're not part of the upper class or part of the 1%, stay in your fucking lane. Don't get a fucking $10,000 theater system or put money into put money into like a $10,000 theater like Neil Toose's theater. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford it, man. Neil Toose is obviously an upper class person. He has 3 million followers. He has fans. You know what I'm saying? He's not a middle class person. He's an upper class person. That's why he's able to afford an expensive theater system, a theater system in his basement. As that theater system that he has is high tech. That probably costs him a good 15, 20, 25 grand around there. You need to be someone who's rich to afford that, man. Be smart, guys. Stay in your fucking lane. If you make 50, 60K a year, don't get a fucking $10,000. You can if you want. If you can afford it. But chances, if you do that, you're gonna drown yourself in debt, and you're gonna have to pay off that $10,000 credit, man. And you're gonna have no money for yourself. It's gonna take you a good, 7, 8 years to pay off that $10,000 credit. It's not fun. Whereas $2,500, $1,500 is nothing. You can pay that off what? A $1,500 payment, a $1,500 theater system, you can pay it off in a year and a half. It's nothing. You pay nothing, man. You pay a good $100 a month, $80 a month, in a good year and a half, you'll pay off your $1,500 credit. That's not that bad. But the moment you're stupid, you get like a $7,000 theater system or a $10,000 theater system, and you're making 50, 60K a year, you're gonna be drowned in debt, and you're gonna have no money for yourself. You have to pay off your big credit, your big credit that you spent. Yeah. Some saying. And so I'm going to keep saying this, guys. Even though I recommend you get a theater system, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to start Sky Source. I'm most likely going to release my movie on 4K Blu-ray. I recommend you get a theater system. But I don't want you guys to go in debt because I told you get a theater system. No, get your theater system. That way you get the experience. But stay in your lane. If you make 50, 40, 60K a year, get around that $1,500, $2,500, $3,500, $4,000 theater system. That's affordable for you and your family. Don't be stupid and get like an $8,000, $10,000 theater system and you end up spending over budget. You now have to pay off your $10,000 credit on your fucking Visa. And you're struggling to make your payments, or you make your payments and because you made your payments for your credit card, you have no money for yourself because you only make 50K. Yeah, chances are if the guy makes 50K a year and he got like a $10,000 theater system, chances are he's gonna have no money for himself. He might have maybe $80, $70 for himself to spend after he pays off all his bills, man, because he has to pay his $100 a month bill on his $10,000 credit that he spent on his theater system. Yeah. Ivan, you saying, yeah, if you make 50K a year, you could afford a $10,000 credit. You can afford a $10,000 what? No, if you make $50,000 a year, you can't afford a $10,000 theater system. And if you do, you're going over budget, obviously, and you're gonna have chances are that person will be stressed out, and they will not they'll what they might be behind in their payments, or if they're able to make the payments, they'll be broke. They'll have no money for themselves, so they can't. If you make 50K a year, you can't afford a $10,000 fucking what a fucking $10,000 theater system. Like, and if you do, you're going over budget. Obviously, you're one of those people who's crazy. Obviously, I want this one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even though you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have like no money for yourself. You want to afford a $10,000 like theater system, you gotta be making at least 95, 100 plus thousand a year. If you want to consider to even get make 100K a year, you can afford a $10,000 theater system. Obviously, make 100, 150, 200, 300K, you can easily afford a nice, easy put 10, 15, even 20 grand towards a theater system. You can easily make your payments. If you make 100 plus thousand dollars a year, you're making like 50, 100 every month. So by the time you pay all your bills, you have at least a good like 1,500 for yourself, 1,300 for yourself. You can easily put a good $400 a month towards paying off your $25,000 credit limit. You can pay it off in a good like 6 years. So you can easily afford it. Whereas if you're making 50K a year, you're not making that kind of money. 50K a year, you're only making like 30, like 300, 3,400 a month, man. You can't afford those big payments, those big credit payments. Yeah, and if you do, chances are your whole budget will be drained. You won't have any money for yourself. You'll be surviving, obviously, and you might have to work. You might have to work some part time jobs. That way you have some money for yourself. Because there's some people who work part time jobs. That way they have some pocket money for themselves. Yeah, all the money that I make in my good paying job is all going towards my car payments, my mortgage, my water bill, my phone bill, my internet bill, my food, my gas. It's all gone. I have no money for myself. Hence, they work part time jobs. That way, they have some nice pocket money for themselves. Yeah. So chances are, if the guy makes 50K a year and he puts money into a $10,000 pay theater system, that person will either have no money for himself, and he went over budget, he couldn't afford it obviously, and he has to work some part time job in the evening. That way he has a nice like $500 for himself to spend. Yeah, that's why some people they work part time jobs. That way they have pocket money for themselves. They work 3 times a week. They make a nice $400 for themselves, and they have some nice pocket money for themselves. Because I know that feeling. It sucks. It sucks paying all your bills and having no money for yourself. It's a shitty feeling, man. It's the worst feeling in the world. I know that feeling. I collect welfare checks, and this month I was stupid. I spent all my money before I got like 6 days. I spent all my money and I had to wait 6 days for my next check. And today is the sixth day, obviously. The day's finally up, obviously, and I never want to wait 6 days ever again. It sucks not having any money and not being able to buy anything. It's the worst feeling in the world. Hence why I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna be very strict with you guys. Please, guys, you know what I'm saying? Even though I know you guys are gonna listen to me, you're gonna get your theater system. Stay in your lane. If you make 50, 40, 60K a year, don't be stupid and get like a $10,000 theater system. You can do it if you want. I'm just saying, Ivan Amaya will not pay your bills. If you go in debt, it's not. I gave you the warning, guys. You know what I'm saying, stay in your fucking lane. Because I know some people are fucking crazy. I want this one. I want this $10,000 one. You know what I'm saying, honey, we can't afford it. I don't care. We'll find a way to make payments. I want this theater system. I want to get a better experience. And you end up buying it, and now you have to pay off your $10,000 visa that you spent. Your credit limit, your credit on your visa that you spent. Yeah. And now the leftover money that you have. The leftover money, I don't know, the $300 that you have to spend, obviously, a good chunk of that is going towards paying off your monthly credit bills on your visa. Yeah, that $10,000 bill, and it's gonna take us like 7, 8 years just to pay this $10,000 fucking credit on our visa. Yeah, well, had you bought a $1,500, $2,000 theater system, easy pay it off in a good 2 years. Nothing. 2 years is nothing, Samsara. And stay in your lane, guys. Make you saying that. But I know some people. In this world are crazy. They make 50K a year and they get like they put $15,000 into a theater. Yeah, if you want to go in debt, be my guest. You'll get a good experience, obviously. But you're gonna have to pay off that credit limit on your visa, that credit on your visa, man. You see what I'm saying? And no one around the world is gonna help you pay off your debts, man. When you pay off your debt, you're on your own. No one's gonna help you. You see what I'm saying? Ivan Amaro will not pay your bills. No one around the world is going to pay your bills for you, man. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Even the Hollywood celebrities, all you B-list actors in Hollywood who have a good like $1,500,000 in your budget, don't be stupid and get like a $400,000 what IMAX theater system. That's like all your money gone. No, stay in your lane too. The Hollywood celebrities have they have there's ranks of wealth too. The only ones who can afford the private IMAX theaters are the ones who are the small A's actors, the ones who are worth like 10, 15, 20 plus $1 million. Those are the only ones who can afford to put like a $400,000 into an IMAX theater system. So if you're a small ace actor or a bigger ace actor, you can obviously afford. Most of them can afford to get a private IMAX theater because they all those guys have a good 8, 10, 15 million in their bank, 20 million in their bank, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100 million in their bank. They can afford it. Whereas the biggest actors, they can't afford that. And if they can, it's like almost all their money gone. And so the biggest actors, I recommend you guys get like a Neotus theater system, like a $25,000, 10, that they can afford that. And the ones who make 100, 200, 300, 400,000 a year, they can afford to put a good 15, 20 grand, 10 grand into a nice theater system in their house. So there's two options for the theater system. You can either buy your big flat screen TV and get speakers, or you can put money into a projector, a theater projector. Those are expensive, and you can put money into a slide screen and you get the better experience. As projectors are a better experience than obviously watching on TV. But if you have a nice TV and a nice speakers, that's good enough. You'll still get an unheard of experience. And I recommend you guys get a 4K TV. That way you get the full 4K Blu-ray experience. If you have a TV, obviously. Whereas if you're one of the rich and you want to put money into a slide screen, it's even better. You can build a nice slide screen and get a nice projector. But to get the projector and the slide screen, that's going to cost you 10 plus thousand plus, 8,000 plus at least. Those are expensive. Whereas for a good 2,500, you can easily get a nice 60, 70-inch TV. For a good $700, you can put another $1,500 into a theater system. Good $3,000, you can get your nice big 60-inch TV. You can 4K 60-inch TV, and you can get your nice speakers for a good $1,500, $2,000. Yeah, still get a good experience. Yeah, you're not going to get the same experience as the rich, obviously, or me and VJ. You know what I'm saying? But you're still going to get an unheard of experience. See what I'm saying? You're still going to get an unheard of experience. You're still going to get an unheard of experience. So please, guys, I know you guys are excited. Oh man, I know you guys are excited, and most of you guys are going to put money into a theater system. But I recommend you do that for my movie if it's released when it's released on 4K Blu-ray. But stay in your lane. Don't be stupid. And if you make $50K a year, don't be stupid and get like a $25,000, $50,000, $10,000 fucking theater system. Yeah. Even if you can afford to make the payments, chances are you went over budget and you're gonna have like no money for yourself, man. You might have to get a part-time job to have some pocket money for yourself. The last thing you want is for that to happen. Trust me, this sucks. It sucks paying all your bills and having no money for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like after you pay your bills, you need to have at least a good like $200, $250 for yourself to make a pretty good living. $250 is not bad. If after you pay your bills, you have $250 to spend. That's not bad. So after you put money towards gas, buying your food, and paying your rent or your mortgage and your car bills, your phone bills, you have a good $250, $300. That's pretty good. You can go to the bar, you can go out to dinner with that money, you can go see a movie on theater, you can go see a professional sports game, you can go to the bar, see a movie on theaters, go on dates, yeah. But there's nothing worse than getting that $10,000 theater system, and you have to put a good like $150 of your money towards your payments, and you only have $50 for yourself to spend because the $150 went towards paying off your $10,000 credit that you spent on the theater system. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, to all you people around the world who are crazy, who are not going to listen to me, obviously, I want this one. I'm saying, yeah, if you want to be crazy like that, fine. If you want to go in debt, be my guest. If you want to get your $10,000, if you want to get a better experience, fine. Get your $10,000 theater system. I'm just saying, there's nothing worse than getting that $10,000 theater system and you're drowned in debt. See what I'm saying? And you're drowned in debt. There's nothing worse than that. So you got to be smart, guys. Be smart. See what I'm saying? Be smart, guys. For example, I collect 676 every month from the government. Obviously, the government sends me welfare checks. I want to work. The reason I'd rather collect welfare checks than work because I get all the time in the world to work on my book. You see what I'm saying? As the amount of money I am making from my welfare checks, obviously, is pretty much a part-time job, minimum wage job. So if I work part time in a restaurant or something like that, I'll probably make about 350 bucks every 2 weeks, 300 bucks every 2 weeks. So the money that the government's giving me is more than how much I would make working part time at a minimum wage job. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously, I get 676 every month. You got 676? Yeah, I get 676 from the government. Obviously, that's a good chunk of money for us. That's not bad money for welfare check. Yeah, it's not bad money. Obviously, with that money I can do good things. I can get my smokes, my beer. I can buy stuff for myself. Yeah, and the best of all, I can what? I have time to work on my book. I don't have to worry about being stressed out working on my book because my book is a big priority for me. Hence why I register for the welfare. I just collect my monthly checks and I have time to work on my book. Had I not collected those welfare checks, I would have had a tough time focusing on my book, man. Because I constantly have to bust to work. I'm tired, and I go home and work on my book. It's stressing. Hence why the welfare checks was the best way for me to receive my income. Obviously, I've been receiving welfare checks for 2 years now. I started receiving my welfare checks when I started the new miscellaneous series. Remember that first video that I made, charity? Yeah, like a couple weeks after I made that video, around that time I registered for my welfare checks. I had to do all these annoying documents, obviously, and then within the first couple weeks later, I got my first check. My first check was $1,000. You got $1,000? Yeah, I got $1,000. And then afterwards, I received 750. I received 750 for a good year. And then last September they lowered it by $80, man. I was so pissed off, and now I receive 676 a month from the government. Now I want to get to this point. Whenever I get smokes at the store, I always get the cheap Pall Mall smokes. All you guys in Canada, you know the Pall Mall brand. I don't know if Pall Mall's in the States, but all you guys in Canada who smoke, you know the Pall Mall brand. Yeah, the Pall Mall brand is the cheapest brand of smokes. The reason why I get the Pall Mall is because I don't make enough money. But once I'm king, I'm gonna get the better brands of smoke, like Belmont. I'm gonna get the more expensive smokes, the 18, 17, $20 smokes. Whereas Belmont smokes are only on about $12, $13. They're cheaper. Why? That way I can save more money. So even me, because I make 676, I'm not stupid. I don't go over budget and get like $20 smokes. No, I get the cheaper brand smokes. I stay in my lane. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Show my camera here.